Hey everyone, welcome back to Real Estate Matters. I'm Divine, your host and local realtor. This show is all about breaking down the real estate world in a way that actually makes sense. So whether you're house hunting, thinking of selling, or just curious about the real estate market, you're in the right place. Today, we're going to be diving into a topic that's been making headlines everywhere. Inflation, and importantly, how it impacts the real estate world. Inflation is one of those buzzwords that can seem very overwhelming, but I'm here today to break it down simply and clearly so that you understand exactly what it means and how it affects buyers, sellers, and investors alike. So whether you're planning to buy your first home, thinking about selling, or looking to invest, knowing how inflation can affect the market will help you make informed decisions. To start, what exactly is inflation? Simply put, inflation is the rise in prices of goods and services over time. You might notice it when your grocery bill is higher than it was last year, or when gas prices increase. When inflation goes up, your purchasing power of your money goes down, meaning your dollar doesn't buy as much as it used to. Now, when it comes to real estate, inflation doesn't just affect the price of home, it impacts everything connected to buying, selling, and maintaining a property. So let me give you a quick example. Imagine the cost of lumber, one of the main materials used in construction, increases by 15% this year. That directly raises the cost to build a home or to complete renovations, and these costs get passed down to the buyers. Here in Nova Scotia, we've seen inflation affect the real estate prices in several ways. First, construction cost rises and new homes become more expensive to build. Builders have to charge more money to cover the increased price of materials and labor. This means fewer affordable homes for new buyers. This puts more pressure on the real estate market for resale properties. Additionally, inflation can create a ripple effect across the economy. For example, local businesses face higher costs and may raise wages, which means homeowners have to budget more for their daily living expenses, making it harder for some buyers to save for down payments. At the same time, inflation can push home prices higher because sellers adjust their asking price to keep up with the living costs. While this can be good for sellers hoping to maximize on profit, it can also mean affordability challenges for buyers, especially first-time buyers. A key piece to this puzzle is interest rates. To manage inflation, central banks, including the Bank of Canada, often increases interest rates. Higher rates means it costs more to borrow money, so mortgage payments go up. For buyers, this means your monthly mortgage payments could increase significantly even if you are buying at the same price. For example, a 3% mortgage rate might jump to 5%, increasing your payments by hundreds of dollars. This can shrink your buying power, meaning you might qualify for a smaller amount of mortgage or have to compromise on what you want and what you can afford. If you're a buyer, inflation can feel like a double whammy with a higher home price and a higher cost of borrowing. But it is important not to panic. Here is what you can do. Firstly, get pre-approved early so that you know your budget. Next, lock in your mortgage rate if you can, especially if interest rates are expected to rise further. Thirdly, consider long-term affordability. Don't just think about what you can pay today, but how comfortable you will be if prices were to increase in the future. And remember, even though inflation pushes prices up, real estate historically appreciates over time and can be a solid way to protect your wealth. For sellers, inflation often means your home value has increased, sometimes significantly if you purchased years ago. This is good news if you're looking to cash in on your investments. However, selling during inflation time also comes with challenges. If you plan to buy another home, you will likely face a higher price and higher mortgage rates as well. Timing your sale becomes crucial to avoid getting caught in markets with limited options. You may also need to consider temporary living arrangements if your purchase doesn't line up perfectly with the sale of your current home. You might be wondering about new home builds. Inflation directly affects this sector because of higher cost of materials, labor shortage, and longer permit processes. And builders may pass the cost of these onto buyers, which pushes prices higher. It can also slow down the construction process, reduce supply, and when supplies go down, prices tend to increase for homes in that area. If you're considering buying a new home, it is important to understand these factors. If you're an investor, inflation can actually be a good thing. Real estate is often seen as a hedge against inflation. Rental income can increase over time, keeping pace with rising costs. That said, you also need to factor in higher mortgage rates and maintenance costs. Proper analysis and financial planning are key to making smart investment decisions. And here are some quick tips for navigating inflation as a buyer or a seller in Nova Scotia. For buyers, budget carefully, get mortgage pre-approval, and focus on long-term affordability. And sellers, it's important to price your home realistically, be ready to negotiate, and plan for your next steps carefully. And for everyone, it's important to stay informed, ask questions, and work with trusted professionals who understand our local market. Alright, that's a wrap on today's episode, and thank you so much for hanging out with me. I will be dropping new episodes regularly. So if you want to stay on top of the Halifax real estate market, get some real estate advice, make sure to follow, like, and share. If you have questions or would like us to cover a certain topic, make sure to send us a message. We'd love to hear from you. And see you next time on Real Estate Matters. And remember, when it comes to real estate, it all matters.